Earlier this year, I was actually in North Carolina and I ended up on the express lane. Let me tell you guys, it was quite the experience. I was probably doing somewhere between 85 to 90 miles an hour while I was on the express lane. It was quite the experience, guys. Just ripping it in the H2. Let me tell you, when you're cruising at 70, it's so smooth. 75, it's super smooth. It's even super smooth at 90. But just moving that quickly in the H2 and seeing, 85, 90 on the dash, it was quite the experience, guys. It was a lot of fun and a really good memory. 4th of July was a few weeks ago, and I actually remember driving my local town, and I did see a vet on the side of the road. He was in a wheelchair, had his American flags on the wheelchair, and the guy was waving at me. That was pretty cool. If I was in any other vehicle, I really doubt that he would wave at me. So just, little things like that make the vehicle that much more special. Talk about, people waving at me every once in a while. I will have, a woman, just a random young attractive woman. She'll stare and then wave. That always makes the driving experience much more entertaining when an attractive woman takes the time to wave at you. So I gotta say, I don't think if you're in any other vehicle, that would happen. Oh, here's a good one. This is a couple years ago, actually. I was actually on my way to an eye appointment, and I made a wrong turn and ended up in the hood. Let me tell you guys, I could barely fit on the road. Every home on the road was like, burnt halfway to the ground, bullet holes, cars that no longer worked were just parked. It was pretty sketchy. So made a wrong turn in the H2 and ended up in the hood. I don't want to experience that again. I was just literally just waiting just to get shot at. So be careful where you're driving. You don't want to make a wrong turn with the H2. Ending up in the hood is bad, or ending up on a road that you don't fit on. That's happened quite a few times. Actually, story, talk about roads that I barely fit on. Here's another Hummer memory. I was down in West Virginia. It was the Battle of Rich Mountain. It was a Civil War battle. And literally, to get to the top of the mountain, you had to zigzag all the way up the mountain. It was super sketchy, guys. The H2 barely fit on the road in some spots. If another vehicle would have come down the hill, it would have been pretty sketchy, to say the least. So this Civil War battle that took place in West Virginia, absolutely insane. Just imagine top of a mountain and just 1,000 men going at it. I don't remember the exact number of men who were at the battle. Might have been slightly less than that, but the fact that men died, it's a battlefield. Whether it's 10 men or 10,000 that died, it's a battlefield. And the terrain was absolutely, it was tough terrain, guys. I walked around and scoped out the terrain. I said, oh my God, just moving horses, a cannon up these massive ravines. Wild, guys, absolutely insane. So if you ever want to check out a battlefield in West Virginia, there's actually I think there's about a dozen or so down there. Absolutely wild. Here's a good one for you guys. I'm driving the H2, and I've got a yellow H2, and I remember I actually pulled up to the side of someone who was driving a yellow Jeep, and I'm not bashing the yellow Jeep at all, but it was a beautiful Jeep. But when I pulled up next to them, it's just, it's like the big brother has shown up, and I just dominated that Jeep. So that was actually a pretty cool experience. And I actually had the rear tire on my my H2 at the time. He had his rear tire on, and it was just it's just a funny experience to see a big yellow H2 next to a Jeep. Talk about the H2, my yellow H2. Here's a fun game to play when you guys do get your own H2, is try to drive past your same vehicle while on the road. So if you have a yellow H2, go out and drive on the road until you pass another yellow H2. You'd be surprised how difficult that can be. And for those Hummer owners that have like a limited edition run vehicle, like a red 2007 sport utility truck, it's going to be a very difficult challenge. I actually completed the challenge. When I was down in Morgantown, I actually drove past a yellow H2. So that was kind of like a wild experience, because you never see Hummers on the road, or it's pretty rare to say the least. I've actually been seeing them more lately around my area, but you're driving past another yellow H2. That was quite the experience. You're like, hey, wait, somebody's driving my vehicle. When I go to car shows in the H2, those have been some really fun Hummer memories. People come up, they're interested in the vehicle. And actually, when I go to the GM Nationals, over the last few years, I've been the only Hummer H2 at the GM Nationals. So if you've never heard of the GM Nationals before, it's outside the Army War College. It's outside Harrisburg, PA. So the GM Nationals, and then there's the Truck Nationals in August. The Truck Nationals is much bigger, but if you're looking for two great car shows, definitely come on out, guys. It's a great time. It's a great weekend for the GM. Saturday is the best day. You can actually still see my sticker from the Nationals. I think it's kind of cool being up there. Friday's not bad, but Saturday's a great day to come out. So again, it's just great having incredible people come up to you and talk about the vehicle. And some of the people that are really interested in the vehicle, who have never been in one before, I'll have them jump in the cabin, take some photos, and they're loving it, and I'm loving it too, because that's what this is all about. My channel, meeting people, spreading how incredible the news on how incredible these vehicles are, and just what a treat it is to own one of these vehicles. Wrapping up, I was in downtown Pittsburgh driving my H2, and I'm getting ready to make a left turn. There was a Middle Eastern man. I saw him from far away driving a vehicle, and I could just tell by the look on his face that he had never, it looked like he had never seen the modern world before. I said, wait a minute, I don't think this guy's stopping. What do you know, this guy, he ran 3 red lights in a row, and then I lost sight of him. But if I would have made a left turn, I would have definitely gotten taken out. So you got to definitely be aware of other people on the road, guys, when you're driving your beast, because if you're like me, you know how much work it takes to get one of these vehicles looking good, up to speed. It's a lot of time investment, learning about the engine, getting the horsepower back, possibly rebuilding your transmission, tracking down parts here and there, upgrading the LEDs. So you never want anything bad to happen to your H2. So be advised of people on the road. Just because it says green light doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go. So guys, I want to hear about your Hummer H2 stories soon.